Hello everybody, RMJ Movie Reviews back again. And now I'm coming with my movie review of Conan the Barbarian, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is the movie that put Arnold onto superstardom, on the map. Or maybe some people would argue that's the Terminator, the original one, but, you know, who's counting? I'm really cooked right now, you guys. I'm really tired. That's why I haven't put up a review in so long. There's just a lot going on in my personal life and trying to get life figured out at 33. And honestly, guys, I feel like I just want to quit the channel and don't even want to finish doing videos anymore. But I've decided that I'm just going to keep working at it and keep doing these reviews, even though I'm tired right now. So, on to Conan the Barbarian. Man, this was actually taken from a comic book series, which I didn't know that. And basically, Conan the Barbarian tells the story of Conan, the title character, and he was basically his parents and his people were murdered. He was taken into slavery, where he was taught how to be a swordsman. And he grew up to avenge the death of his parents, and then he became thus Conan the Barbarian. One of the coolest. I tell you one thing. Before I found out what a sleazebag Arnold Schwarzenegger really is in real life, I was an Arnold Schwarzenegger fanatic as a child. Matter of fact, this film and the sequel and Terminator 1, way before Terminator 2, and Commando is one of the main reasons that made me want to become a filmmaker and an actor and love movies as much as I do. I all attest that shamefully to Arnold Schwarzenegger, now knowing what I know about him. But Arnold was my childhood hero. I loved Conan. I remember my mother taped Conan the Destroyer off the cable network, which I'm going to be reviewing that in a couple days. But I mean, this film was just on replay. This one and the second one was just like on instant replay on the VCR in my house constantly when I was a kid. My mother taped this off TV for me, but remember, this was in like the 80s, so this is the TV version of Conan the Barbarian, so you don't get all the good stuff you get here on the DVD. But this is like old school epic movie making. What I love about Conan the Barbarian is it does not pull any punches at all. This is a grown-up epic tale. There's tons of nudity, tons of sex scenes, tons of graphic violence. I mean, this does not hold back, and as it's the way it should be. If you're gonna tell a tale like this, you need to go for it. And this very much is just down and dirty and gritty. And also what I really like is just the production designs, the costumes. You really get a sense of this kind of... this doesn't really take place in a specific time or place. This is kind of more supposed some ancient world that was in the past that doesn't have a distinct time or place to it. And really with the costume and the production designs and the way the movie is shot, wide camera angles and the scope, it really takes you back into this ancient time. And also, of course, I mean, we can't account for the music. The music in this by Basil Palladores. I can't remember the guy's name. You guys, it is fantastic. That is one of the things that movies are missing now, is a distinct score that makes you feel like you are a part of this world. And the score for Conan the score for Conan is almost like the score for Jaws. I mean, it just wouldn't be what it is without it. Matter of fact, it would go in this order. It'd go the music, the costumes, and the action set pieces are what is the glue that holds Conan together. I've seen a lot of reviews where people really knock Arnold's acting in this movie. I'm not really quite sure if people get it, but Conan is supposed to be a man of few words. I mean, the whole thing is the movie, his father is talking about the riddle of steel, and it's about the sword. That's what it's about, the sword. That's what Conan is. You hear some people say there's gun movies. Conan is a sword movie. So when people say Arnold's acting is bad, I've never got it. And number two, Arnold got into the business because he knew the movie business is a multi-million-dollar business. Arnold is power hungry and money hungry, and he lusts for power, you know, because of his like Nazi roots from Germany back in the day. So that's what Arnold strives for. He doesn't strive to be a better actor. He never did, you know. And I will say, in Arnold's defense, I think over time, by the time, you know, it kind of got to like Twins, Kindergarten Cop, I think he was actually a much better actor than people really want to give him credit for. Not by any means saying that he was, you know, Mel Gibson or anybody like that, but you know, I think Arnold had grown to have a certain style of acting, and I think it worked well for him. You know, the one-liner, the comedy. You know, although in this film he didn't get a chance to really express those chops yet. So, you know, the one-liners didn't come along until Commando, which, you know, I'll review that one later, but I love Commando. But anyway, yeah, and there's a couple rusty spots with some of the supporting players, some of the extras who kind of go like, Conan, what's his best in life? You know, some of those guys are really, like, bad. And there's another scene where, who else was bad? There was another scene. Just a couple of the bit players are not really that good. In particular, the guy Subutai, I don't particularly think he's that good. But those are just minor complaints. I still love Conan the Barbarian. I love Conan the Destroyer. Conan the Barbarian is a classic. This is the movie. I mean, when I see Arnold doing the sword and doing this and riding horses, and when I hear that music, it takes me back to being a 5-year-old child living on Hampstead in Cleveland Heights in the 1980s. I mean, this movie is what inspired my love of films. Totally 100% is Arnold and Conan. You know, so you know, aside from some of the rusty acting from some of the bit players, you know, aside from that, it's really just the music. And James Earl Jones tears it up. And I didn't realize in rewatching this movie now, he's not even really in that much of the movie. I mean, this movie is like 2 hours and 11 or 5 minutes or something like that. James Earl Jones, I think, is really only in about 15 minutes of the movie. But his character is so psychopathic and sick, and, you know, this cult leader who's like, you know, rapes and he doesn't rape and pillage, but he just murders and kills and gets young girls to jump and sacrifice themselves to snakes, and he goes, "Come to me, my child," and they jump off of cliffs. It's totally insane. He is a deranged sicko, and James Earl Jones plays a deranged psychopath with so much class, which is the weirdest thing to say, but James Earl Jones really pulls it off. He's fantastic. I think one of my favorite scenes is when they go into the village to kill Conan's parents and the whole village, is when he chops off Conan's mother. I love that scene because it's totally played. The music just drowns out everything, and all you see is James Earl Jones staring at Conan's mother, and he does that look, and then he just kind of hypnotizes her. He turns and then whop, and you just see that head drop. I mean, it's fantastic filmmaking. So Conan the Barbarian is, and also too, I just love how raw and brutal the action is. I mean, there's some good action here. All practical in-camera stunts, horse riding. I mean, there's fantastic stuff here. Again, an era of filmmaking that is just sadly gone. I really wish we could get it back, but they won't make movies like this anymore. They can't, you know. And also too, like the stuff with the snakes. One of my other favorite scenes is the one where Conan chops the giant snake in half, and he sticks it, and the snake is bleeding. I mean, that's cool stuff, man. But you won't see stuff like Conan the Barbarian anymore. I mean, movie studio, even when they made the remake, it was pussified, you know. So and also I want to say, on this new edition of the DVD, they've tacked on some silly ending where Conan goes back to kill James Earl Jones, but he takes the king's daughter with him. I don't know. It's retarded. It's just dumb. It shouldn't have been there. But either way, you guys subscribe to my channel, like my video, share it. and leave